You guys were able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So in today's class, we'll discuss about how to display an information back to the UI. Okay, by using servlet. Okay. So first, let me write one simple program, and then we'll start discuss about how it is working. Now let me try to deploy this in a server. Run on server. Select the server and click on finish. So actually, instead of using this Eclipse browser, I'm going to use my own browser so that I get the results in correct way. If you guys were able to see here, welcome to the servlet world, how it is coming. So whenever we hit the URL, in general, it comes to the web.xml. From the web.xml, it gets to know which servlet that we're trying to call, so that it will come to the particular servlet, and now it calls the service method. When it got the service method, it's already been ready with the request and response objects are been available. So with the response object, there is a writer object been available for me, means I can able to send the response back to the browser. Okay, that is nothing but I am having the one printwriter object with this response object. So by using getWriter method, I'm going to get the printwriter object. Once I got the printwriter object, so whatever you're trying to print, it will be get printed on a browser console. Okay, so here just I'm trying to print some message saying like welcome to the servlet world. So this is just been displayed whenever you're trying to hit the servlet. So if you want to display something as like this by using servlet, we have to do it like this. Okay, and next. Okay, in the yesterday's class, we have seen some sorry. Yesterday's class, we have seen something about the init params and how this init param will works. So in order to init params to be work, we should compulsorily be required one config object. All right. So from the config object only, we are going to get all this. Next, how to get a servlet config object?
By init method.
No, no, config object. I'm saying. I'm not saying about the get init parameter method. Config. How to get the
Okay.
config object? If you observe clearly,
Get servlet config.
exactly. there is a method here for us, right? If you open the generic servlet API, go and see the API documentation, what are the methods being present. So if you want to get the servlet config object, just call the method called get servlet config. So web container is going to return a one object, that is servlet config object. Okay, just get. So by using the config object, I can able to read the I can able to read the init parameters, right, by providing the keys here. Okay, means in order to read this information, init param information, we need to provide get init parameter method there. So there we need to provide the key name. This is the way that we can able to read. Okay, so what are these init params here? These init params are specific to this particular servlet only. Okay, specific to this particular servlet only. Consider as a case if I'm having the another servlet. Okay, consider as a case I'm having the another servlet. Okay, and here we need to provide the mapping anyway. So servlet mapping have two subtags. Servlet name, we should provide the same name as we provide under the servlet element, and then URL pattern. So we can call it as 2. Okay, whenever we call this name 2, then it is going to get the servlet name as 2. From this basic, it is going to figure out the servlet name as 2 in this element, and then it is going to call the second servlet. Okay, consider a case at here. Okay, I'm in a second servlet now. Okay, I'm in a second servlet now. So in the second servlet, it is not possible for me to access this init param. The reason behind here, if you observe clearly, I'm trying to put these init tags. Okay, I'm trying to put this init information tags under the servlet element. Okay, under the servlet element, meaning these init tags are specific to this particular servlet. Okay, and if you try to access the init tags in the second servlet, no, it will not be coming. So we'll say that servlet config object is specific to the particular servlet. Okay, for example, if we are having some 10 servlets in your uh, project, then 10 servlets are going to have 10 servlet config objects, and each config object is specific to their servlet. Okay, and one config object may not be accessed in another servlet. Okay, wherever if you want to provide the specific information, so this whatever the information that I have provided, this is specific to this particular servlet only, that is generic servlet only. Okay, so I cannot able to access this information in a second servlet. Got an idea, or you want me to show an example too?
Like how it knows like whether to get the first servlet config object.
Yes, yesterday I told you, right? Whenever we are going to get the servlet object, that time it's going to create one thread. Okay, so container is the one which is going to create the request object, response object, config object, and context object, session object. Okay, and all these objects are associated with that particular thread.
Okay.
Okay, so servlet I mean container get easily get to know, like this one is belongs to which one, like that.
Okay.
Okay,
The
whenever
thread will be independent of the servlet,
whichever the
each
servlet,
servlet.
yes. So it depends upon, like one way is like through user request, another way is like through servlet context. See here, um whatever the information that I'm providing at here, so it is under the servlet element. Okay, means it thinks like, okay, this is the servlet. For this servlet there is a servlet config object. Okay, and for this config object only I need to provide all this information.
Yeah.
Okay, it gets to know like that. And
Okay.
next, okay, I have a requirement in such a way like I need to provide this information to all the servlets, not specific. Okay, I have a requirement. I need to provide all this information to the all the servlet, not to a specific servlet. Then how? There they provide another solution for this. Okay, let us see. Just like a servlet config object, there is a context object. Okay, servlet context object, and this context object is having the container level. It is not specific to any servlet. Okay, it is container level. This object is also called as application object, and any servlets can able to access this. So how to how to get the servlet context object here? How to get the servlet context object? So here, how am I getting select context object? Just by calling the method called get select context. Where it is present? It is present under generic servlet. Okay, under generic servlet there is a method called get servlet context. So just by calling the get servlet context, I can able to get the servlet context object. Okay, now what is the use of this servlet context object, or it is also called as an application object? So what is the use of this application object? So as I said, this application object is at global level, not specific to any servlet. So whenever we declare something in a web.xml, that can be accessed by any servlets. Okay, there is a way to declare how to. So tag is context param. Okay, same param name, and then param value. Okay, I'm having, so this should be outside all the servlet tags. It is not specific. I mean, it may not be present any inside of the servlet. It will be present outside of the servlets. Okay, and here you can declare some name. Okay, for example, instead of declaring it here, I will remove this. I want to provide this JDBC information for all the servlets, so I'll provide the information at here. Okay, this is my driver name. Now we'll do one thing. First, we'll try to access by using the config object. Okay, and we'll try to print this in browser. Okay, just I'm trying to print the. okay now. So let me try to deploy this, stop the server and start it once again. So I'll go and use it here. If you observe clearly here, servlet config driver name is coming as null, but the servlet context is coming here. See why it is behaving as like this? See, now this servlet is not having any init params inside. Okay, that's why it's throwing null because we don't have any such names. See, now this is the context. So in this context, I have given the driver name. Okay, and then driver class. Let me do one thing. I think you guys get more an idea. Let me create another example. Let me try to copy all this. Let me stop the server. We try to see the context. Great. Now let me start the server once again. Run as, run on server, finish. It's okay. We'll go to the browser and see. Now I'm trying to click on enter. See here, actually I have declared the three variables here. When you observe clearly in the generic servlet, means consider as the first servlet. Okay, here, okay, this is the way I'm going to get the servlet config object. Once I got the config object, I'm trying to call the init parameter first. This first is present in which servlet? Hmm?
The first one?
Yes, this first is present under this first one, right? First servlet, but it don't have any second, right? See here, I'm trying to call it as a first. Okay, I can able to get the value so that I can able to display it here. But if see here, I'm trying to call the second init param. Am I having any such second at here in this particular element?
No.
No, right? So what should it has to return? It's going to return null.
Null.
Okay, and then see here, after that I'm trying to get the servlet context object. What I said, the servlet context object, this is a global level object, any servlet can able to access. So it is not like a specific to any servlet, either servlet 1, servlet 2, or whatever it is, controller servlet, whatever it is, where I can able to access this value. So that's the reason. So in all the servlets I should get this. Okay, now we have seen the one first servlet, right? We'll see the second servlet too. See now what is happening? I'm in a second servlet now, so I'm unable to access the first servlet value. Am I right? But we can able to access the second servlet value, nothing but servlet config second servlet value, and this is the context object. This should be available for either one or two. Got an idea, or is there any confusion for you guys?
No.
Yeah.
Please tell me so that I
Yeah,
can able
got
to.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, got an idea. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's clear.
okay, great. Because I introduced the two objects at the same time, right? So I'm like, I'm thinking like maybe if you guys get confused, it's so okay, great. So we're having the two kinds of now objects. One is select context object and another is select config object. So remember, what is the difference between select context and config? If anybody asks you in an interview, say like select config is specific to a servlet. Okay, whichever the servlet that you have declared, in that particular servlet only you can able to access the values. Okay, and the select config is specific to that particular servlet only. Servlet context is not like that. It is like a kind of a global object. Okay, any servlet in the web container can able to access. Okay, now so in order to print some values, what you need to do, you need to use the print writer. How you are going to get the print writer object? By using response object. So if you have any doubts, let us go and see this select response interface. Select response API, so that we'll go and see the documentation and see here many methods are there. Let us see the method called getWriter. Whenever I'm trying to call the getWriter method under the select response, what I'm going to get? Print writer object. Okay, so once I got the print writer object, then it's just like a sysout. Okay, system.out.println. Okay, so but here we are going to print it in a browser instead of a server console. Okay, and yeah, we'll move to the next servlet. Okay, before that I will discuss some simple thing here. Okay, okay. um Vijay, in the last class that you asked, right, like servlet API is the jar file, is it like common for all the containers, or you can say all the servers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's not like so. See, this is the API jar file which is implemented by the Apache Tomcat. Okay, and weblogic.jar is the one which is implemented by the WebLogic guys. Okay, and then same Java E is the one which is implemented by the Glassfish. Okay, same case for the JBoss also. Means every server is going to provide the implementation for this servlet. Okay, every server is going to provide the implementation for the servlet, and they're going to have their own implementation jar files, nothing but internal classes and interfaces. Okay, and yes, if you ask me a question, consider I have downloaded the servlet-api.jar file, and can I deploy it into WebLogic and use it? Yes, you can. It won't object you. Okay, it will work fine. But uh, people recommend saying like whichever the server you're using, please download according jar file. Okay, according implemented jar file. Whoever implements, for example, um, WebLogic implements WebLogic jar file. I mean, this is the one which is having the servlet implementation. I mean, all the servlets and um, classes and interfaces in the servlet API, whichever it is there, all the implementation things are being provided will be kept under WebLogic.jar file. Okay, so they recommend saying like whenever you're using WebLogic, then please try to use the WebLogic jar file, and whenever using Glassfish, use this java.e.jar file. Okay, whenever you download the particular server, inside the server itself under the lib directory, you can able to figure out this jar file. Okay, no need to search in Google also. Okay, let me try to see maybe where we have this. See in this location, I can able to figure out for the WebLogic. WebLogic.jar is the one which provided the implementation for the servlet specification. Okay, whenever you're using the WebLogic, then please try to set the class path for WebLogic.jar file instead of servlet-api.jar file. Okay, I mean this is what recommended in general. But if you say like, can I use servlet-api in WebLogic? I will say yes, we can use. There will be no problems. Okay then, great. Okay, we'll see the next concept. So we have seen the servlet interface. Okay, and then its implemented class, that is generic servlet, and it is an interface, and this is an abstract class, generic servlet. Okay, and then there again they created another servlet, okay, by providing the implementation for this generic servlet, that is called as HTTP servlet, extends generic servlet, and this is also an abstract class. So I'm already been having the generic servlet, then what is the need of going for an HTTP servlet? Okay, I'm having the generic servlet, then what is the need of going for a HTTP servlet here? See, generic servlet is the one which is like, kind of a generic for all the kinds of a protocols. This is not a specific to any protocol. Okay, this is not specific to any protocol. Okay, no, but here if you observe here, HTTP servlet, they prepared in such a way like they provided the implementation for the service method, and along with they provided the other methods like do get method, do post method, do head, do delete, do trace, do locate. Okay, means what are all these? These are the methods present in a HTTP, right? these are the methods present in HTTP. Means whenever we are sending the request in a HTTP protocol, we have to send either of these methods, like get method or post method or delete, trace. Either of these. Most of the case we use get and post only. Okay. So we are sending any of these methods to the server, right? So I want the servlet in such a way like it should be specific for my protocol. Okay, right now I'm using HTTP protocol, so that's the reason I want the servlet which will be specific for the HTTP servlet. So that's the reason they implemented the HTTP servlet. For example, if you're trying to work something with FTP, file transfer protocol, then they're going to provide FTP servlet. So that is specific, that particular means whatever the methods and advantages of the FTP, they're going to implement those in FTP servlet. Okay, and there also FTP servlet extends generic servlet again, means they want to get the core advantage. Along with that, they are going to provide some extra methods so that you're going to get that extra advantage. So if you see nowadays in most of the projects, they are implementing HTTP servlet only. Okay, and then this HTTP servlet is an abstract class. So what is the reason behind what is the reason behind providing the abstract class? If in case if they didn't provide any implementation for a method, in such a case we can make it as an abstract class. In second case here, they don't want to, users should not create an object for this. Okay, they don't want to allow the users to create the object for this HTTP servlet. Instead they should extend. For example, if I'm writing some servlet, my own servlet, for example m1, this one extends HTTP servlet. So my intention is like that. People should use like this, not directly. People should not create an object for this HTTP servlet directly. I don't want. That's the reason I have created this class, an abstract class. Tell me the answer for this. For example, there is a class called abstract class. Abstract class should have at least one abstract method. Is there any condition like that?
Yeah,
Abstract class should have at least one method, right?
at least one. Yeah. If not, why should it be called abstract?
Yes. And what about Vijay?
Yeah, correct.
Are you sure?
Yeah, if it is an abstract, you need to have at least one.
One method, right?
Yeah.
You're absolutely wrong. Okay.
Oh, really?
Abstract class can have zero or more than zero methods of abstract methods. Okay. There is no rule to say you should have at least one abstract method. Then you can be asked
It
Then
me,
could
why?
be without a method.
yes, try one today.
Then it is not abstract, right?
Yes, still it is an abstract class only. My intention is like I don't want to create an object for my class. That's why I'm making it as an abstract.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So that's the reason they provided a rule saying like abstract class can have zero methods only. Okay.
It could be just a class without any method.
Yeah,
That's the point.
yeah, methods will be present, but only the concrete methods, means all the methods having the implementation. There is no abstract method.
Oh,
Okay, what is the abstract class?
so an abstract class can contain methods which are only concrete. That's the point?
Huh. No. Abstract class, the main reason behind abstract class is a kind of a combination. See, interface is only abstract methods been present. Nothing but there will be no method implementation
Yeah.
in interface. So if you want to say example for complete abstraction, best example is an interface.
Yeah.
Okay, and abstract class, this is kind of a semi, it is not like a class, normal class, it is not like an interface, it is semi in between.
Yeah.
It can have concrete methods as well as it can have abstract methods. Concrete method means which is having the method implementation. Abstract means which may not provided the method implementation, just only the description of the method is provided, that's it.
Yeah, that's right. But what's the thing that you're saying is another thing.
Yes,
You're
abstract.
saying a class can be abstract, but it can contain all concrete methods.
It can contain or it may not. It can have zero methods also. It's zero concrete or zero abstract. Okay, still you can able to declare the class as an abstract class.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of something that I didn't realize before.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Now let us see one simple example with this HTTP servlet. And HTTP servlet example, and this one is extending HTTP servlet. So let me remove all these. These are like, let's see. Let me try to create from scratch. So one is the servlet. Servlet is having the name, and it is having another tag called servlet class. com dot durga dot http servlet ex is my servlet class name, and then other tag is mapping tag. Okay, we should provide compulsorily these two tags, right? So one is servlet element, another one servlet mapping element. Under this, which is having the servlet name, it should match with the above one, http ex, and we need to provide one URL pattern. Okay, let me try to provide some http one. Okay, I'm providing it as like this now. um, Let me go on cross verify in http servlet. Yes, everything looks fine for me. So now let me stop the server and start once again. So I don't want to use this. I will go and use the browser here and want to use the Eclipse browser. So my path which I have given is /http1 is my path. So we have to give that. Click on enter. Yes, we're getting 500. Let us see what is this. Hmm. Hmm. I have given the wrong name, so that's the reason. Yeah, finish. Now let me stop the server once again and start it. Go here and click on enter. Yes, I got the HTTP servlet service method. Okay, so HTTP servlet which works same as just like a generic servlet only. Then what is the main advantage of this one? Here it comes. Okay, now let me start with some static file. Okay, in general HTML files should be outside of the web file only, right? So let me try to create one HTML file. Login.html. Okay, and in this one I'm trying to create one form. Input type is equal to text, and name is equal to username. So end it here. I'm trying to keep the break. Then here password. So type is password type. I can give any name, CA pass something. Okay, next. Input type is equal to submit, value is equal to submit tag. Okay, now it is going to have two parameters here. One is method, consider by default I'm providing the get method here, and I'm going to call the servlet whenever I have clicked on submit. So what's the path should I give here? Just this one, HTTP1 path. That has to be given in a HTML file. So whenever I click on submit, these details will be sent to the servlet. Okay, now just I'm trying to display some message. You are successfully logged in. Okay, now let me try to stop the server. Click on finish. So I had to give login.html in browser, right? So I'm entering something, username and some password, and click on submit. So what is saying HTTP1 404, why it's saying like that? Yep, great. So here first I got one login page. In the login page I am providing some information. When I click on the submit, it is going on hitting the my servlet, HTTP1 servlet. Okay, so in the servlet whatever it is there, it is trying to print the value information. Okay, so it's trying to print some value information. Actually this is the place where we are going to write the processing kind of a logic. Means once you got the username and password there, we are going to cross verify this in the database. For this we are going to write some JDBC code and to cross verify against the database. Once it got matched, then we are going to provide information saying like you are successfully logged in. So that is the kind that we need to write here. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow's class will discuss about some other methods called do get and do post methods. So how they work in HTTP servlet. Okay, till now you have any doubts, guys?
It's clear.
Yep. Okay then. Okay then. Thank you. We'll see you on tomorrow.
Thank you.